Welcome in. Welcome in. This is week 2. Hope you guys liked the first week. We enjoyed making it, so we decided to do it again. It is Monday night. The game is still technically happening, but it's boring, so we're going to start recording now.
Nah, we intended to record tonight. We were going to try to record on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but Anthony's got to work, so we got to make do with what we've got this week. But yeah, it is a boring game, so I'm not sad that we're recording.
It'd be cool to watch it in real time. Now we can kind of see who's gonna win these close games. And Brian, go Brian. Hopefully, just this week only. I'm not rooting for you any other week. But yeah, should be.
Wait, why are you rooting for him this week?
Why do you want Scam and Jamma to lose?
What do you have against Scam and Jamma?
I meant to go the other way. I need Matt to lose, but he's not going to lose, it seems. So I guess I do want Brian to lose because that was my prediction, and that he has a really bad team, but he's probably going to win. So we'll see.
In order for us to get our prediction right, we did pick Scam and Jamma. We picked Robbie.
Go Scam and Jamma.
But also, Brian is projected to lose right now, at least according to my phone.
Brian's my brother, so like a part of me wants him to succeed. Although he won the other league, so I mean, I guess fuck him in this league.
All right, so we're going to kind of go through the week, but we're going to do it by going with the pick'ems. That way we can kind of talk about both at once, talk about who had what correct, and then if anything kind of stood out to us during the week. We'll start with the Miami Buffalo game. Only Brian and Alex picked Buffalo in this, so good job on that one, guys.
Also, Corey, make your picks.
The biggest news out of this one, obviously, is Tua. He died, and RIP to his brain forever. I unfortunately think he will be coming back. All signs indicate to him doing what he can to get better and make another start, which is kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, but you kind of knew it was going to happen. He's not going to retire. If he didn't retire the last time, a concussion that he got up and I'm sure said, I feel fine, because he walked off on his own power. He's not going to retire from the NFL from that.
No, I think I don't know. I think it's a big conversation to have with like just concussions and whatnot in general, because like there's a lot of different opinions on. A lot of people think he shouldn't come back, but I mean it's a medical decision. It's his decision. I feel like most NFL players, if not all, understand the risk of playing football, and I whatever is best for him. I don't want to say he shouldn't come back or he should. If he feels like he should, then the risk. Do what you got to do.
This destroys my fantasy team. Edchin can still be good, but all of a sudden, Jalen Waddle isn't Jalen Waddle anymore. I don't have Tua, who was a very reliable starter in my lineup. I'm very sad about this because it's also my RRL team.
Yeah, it upsets me as well because I have Tyreek, and obviously Tyreek is useless without Tua. He was kind of useless most of the game, if I'm being honest. So without Tua, I don't think Tyreek's going to do a whole lot. So I do need Tua to come back selfishly.
I don't know if a lot of people know this. All right, I was doing some digging, but the Dolphins, whenever Tua gets concussion, they're like 7-0 the game after. So I think they'll be fine. I think you should keep your head up, Greg.
That's a weird stat.
It's a weird stat, right? It's not a true stat, but I figured it would maybe cheer you up a little bit.
Wait, it's not true? You just made that up?
So that would be 3 more concussions than he actually has, and that's not good.
That's true.
It's a valid point. All right, next game is Vegas and Baltimore. 3 of us picked Vegas. That's me, Ryan, and Brian again to cover not only cover the points, but they ended up winning the game. So
crazy that they won that game.
Yeah, Lamar looked like he got yelled at for doing too much, so he decided to do nothing instead this week.
I got nothing on that. So it's surprising. I didn't watch the game. I did actually see the final like 2 minutes, and they tried to do like a little what do you call that? Like the Music City Miracle thing, where they just like lateral the ball all over the place, and didn't happen. But
yeah, admittedly, we didn't watch much football this weekend either. I watched the Patriots game, but when we had Red Zone on and a couple other games, but we didn't watch any of the afternoon games, so this section's going to be a little light.
But hey, if you have Gardner Minshew, he threw it a lot, so that's good for you, I guess. And if you have Devontae Adams, but Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all we have for that game. The Chargers and the Carolina Panthers.
God damn, Bryce Young is bad.
We all got this one right.
Is he as bad as the? It's just. I feel like Carolina is just becoming like an all-time bad franchise in general. Like the team is just really bad. And I feel like anybody you put back there is going to not be good.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that they're going to turn this season around by sitting Bryce Young, but Bryce Young is really bad. I don't remember the stats. I'm sure I can find it again. He is statistically worse than Jamarcus Russell
It's not
in
good.
the same or similar amount of passing attempts. He is statistically
Oy.
worse than the worst bust of all time.
How tall is Bryce Young? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
Short.
Yeah.
5'10".
5'10".
I was going to say he's probably listed at
Like-
5'10". That boy is not 5'10". I would be willing to bet that he's closer to my height than he is closer to 5'10".
Well, Kyler Murray's also 5'10". Do you think that's true? That they're
No.
both the same height?
No.
'Cause it doesn't seem that way.
No, haven't you?
That
Did you
doesn't
see
seem-
that picture?
Of Bryce Young?
Yeah. So are you sure Kyler Murray is listed at 5'10"? Because I remember when this picture came out, when it blew up on the internet.
Yes.
At the combine, they listed Bryce Young as taller than Kyler Murray.
And
And then
somebody's
this
lying.
picture came out, and we were like, bruh, you're shorter than Kyler Murray. What are you talking about?
Well, there's one of the top searches is Kyler Murray actually 5'10"? So
Yeah, I don't think he
who
is.
knows, honestly.
No, I don't think so. The problem is Kyler Murray is a short king, so
Bryce Young is not. He's
Bryce
just
Young's
short.
not. Just go away.
Well, back to the game at hand. Justin Herbert looked great. It looks like the Harbaugh team is coming together despite what everybody thought about that offense, or at least the giant question marks.
No, see, I think that they're doing exactly what I thought they were going to do, which is run the ball a lot. I thought it wasn't going to be JK one leg, but
Are we
they're
talking about
running.
the Chargers now?
yeah,
He's
Oh,
got two
sorry.
legs, and they seem to be working
they
fine.
seem to be working.
Next game is Dallas and New Orleans. Scamma Jamma Rob is the only one to pick New Orleans here. What a great pick. What a great game.
pick.
And he's a Cowboys fan, so that says something.
Scamajama?
Oh, never
No,
mind. Sorry.
Scamma
Coulter.
Jamma's a
I'm thinking
Pats
of
fan.
Coulter. Never mind.
Yeah, Coulter's the Dallas fan.
Sorry.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara, 4 touchdowns. Derek Carr. Again, I think I said this earlier to you, Anthony, off the mic, but there's like a stat somewhere that at least at one point in this game, Derek Carr was perfect in scoring drives. Basically, every attempt he had, he was perfect in getting points.
Yeah, I did watch the first half of this game, and Derek Carr, I think it was right before the half, was 5 for 5, which doesn't seem like, it's like, obviously it's not a lot, it's just 5 for 5, but he threw for like 202 yards, and I'm like, that's incredibly efficient, first of all, and like obviously with Kamara being like the star of the first half, Rashid Shaheed as well. Yeah, it was pretty surprising. I mean, Dallas is supposed to have a really good defense, but it hasn't looked like that this year. I feel like even against Cleveland, Cleveland wasn't great against them, but I didn't expect the Saints to do that to Dallas at all. It was pretty wild.
No, I had no expectation. I thought that what we saw week 1 from the Saints was solely because they were playing Carolina. And I thought we were going to see them fall apart this week against a much better team in Dallas, but they proved me wrong because of what I caught from that game and the highlights that I've watched. Derek Carr looks good. I was listening to the Ballers earlier, and they were talking about how the Saints went from the 31st ranked team in pre-snap motion to, in the first 2 weeks, they're number 1 in pre-snap motion. They were ranked 32nd in play action last year, and they're ranked number 1 in the first 2 weeks of doing those things. And so it's just their new offensive coordinator clicking and actually doing like good shit with the offense, like creative stuff with the offense rather than just dump it off to Alvin Kamara every goddamn play like they did last year.
Yeah, and they were taking deep shots too. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah,
game.
I would say out of the Saints and their start that they're having, Rashid Shaheed is a Real
Mouthful.
surprise. That's a mouthful. It's a real surprise so far. And I think he's going to be really involved in the offense.
I just want to say that prior to the season, Mark and I had been kind of discussing different fantasy things, and I mentioned Alvin Kamara as like a guy that I was kind of into this year, and he legitimately said, "What's your deal with Alvin Kamara?" Well, he had a 4 touchdown game, so
Fuck Alvin Kamara. Fuck you, Alex.
Next game is the Detroit Tampa game. 4 people picked Tampa. I changed my pick from Tampa to Detroit at the last minute on this because I was watching the Mike Greenberg pre-NFL show that morning, and he convinced me that the point shouldn't be enough with that offense, and I believed him.
The points shouldn't have been enough. This game made me double sad because like I said last week, I'm a 2024 Lions fan, and God, I just don't want Ryan to be right about the Buccaneers.
I mean, it's one of those where, as a Dolphins fan, I don't want any of the other 2 teams in Florida to be good. And my team just had a nuclear bomb dropped on it, while it turns out Baker Mayfield is just simply getting better with age.
Apparently he's the truth now.
He fits Tampa, man. He fits. He's a Florida man right now.
Like Chris Godwin is back from the dead. Like, he wasn't supposed to be anything.
He's
he
having
was
a good
literally nothing last year. He did nothing last year. And what is he, 28, 29 years old? You're not supposed to be better at 28, 29 years old, but 2 weeks in and he's looking like he's 25 again.
Yeah, he looks good. To be fair, I didn't watch a lot of this game. This was something that, even though it was on, I feel like I was paying more attention to the Minnesota game going on in the corner. So
My dog Sam Darnold, baby.
not yet though. Next game in the pick'ems is Indianapolis and Green Bay. It was pretty split. 4 people had Green Bay, then the other 6 had Indianapolis.
That surprises me.
Obviously, the Green Bay pick was right.
What surprises you?
That anybody would pick Green Bay. I did not have any confidence that they would do anything with Malik Willis.
I agree with that. That's why my pick was Indianapolis. I thought Indianapolis could at least cover the spread with Anthony Richardson running a little bit, but turns out you get a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback if you just install him into the Green Bay offense.
Yeah, maybe, which is bullshit. But no, I picked Green Bay because I think their defense is pretty good. And I figured they would just run the ball the entire game, which is what they did the entire game. And then when they asked Malik Willis to throw the ball, he chose the more conservative routes to go, or took an easy deep shot and was conservative with those throws as well, from what I remember. But I figured they would just run the ball and it would be a low-scoring game, which, if I'm not mistaken, it was a low-scoring game, right?
It was 10-16, yeah. Next game is the Jacksonville-Cleveland game, and Bo is the only person to pick Cleveland in this. So good job, Bo.
What was the spread on this game?
I'm not sure. I can look at my screenshots real quick.
Did you take screenshots to make sure
I took them right
didn't switch it on
Yep,
you?
sure enough.
Sure
I guess that's what I should
enough.
be doing moving forward.
So
probably.
it was 3.5. Cleveland was given 3.5. And
Cleveland was given 3.5 points.
Cleveland was given 3.5
and
points.
only one person picked Cleveland?
Yeah, and they won.
Damn.
Good job, Bo.
To be fair, again, not a game we didn't watch much of, but I saw a quote from this game that it was a tweet I just saw that apparently Jerome Ford said that Jameis Winston calling a play is like he's about to tell you a surprise. And I don't know why, but I love knowing that information.
He's a wild human being.
I love him.
But that feels like a week 1 overreaction by all of us except for Bo.
Yeah.
Because Jacksonville looked really good against Miami. Cleveland looked really bad. And so I think we all just reacted to that and we're like, nah, Cleveland sucks. Deshaun Watson sucks.
I think I looked at it.
Baltimore.
I think I looked at it like that Jacksonville's defense looked pretty stout, and I didn't believe in Cleveland's offense at
Yeah.
all. So
Yeah, that feels just like an overreaction to me, though. Okay.
next game is San Francisco, Minnesota, and we all lost this pick.
Ooh. I didn't pick Minnesota, huh? Damn.
Nope, no one picked Minnesota.
You didn't believe in Sam Darnold that much,
I
Anthony.
believed in him, just not enough to cover, I guess. I don't know.
This game was on in one of the four corners of our multi-view, and I paid attention to this game quite a bit. Sam Darnold looked really good.
Justin Jefferson is just so good.
Justin Jefferson's incredible.
Imagine trading him away.
He did have a couple moments where like we're watching, and because we didn't have the sound on for this game, he would like kind of grab the back of his leg a little bit here and there, and it was like, oh, I'm sorry, you're doing what now? You're hurt again? Oh no, just kidding.
Yeah, he left the game at the end with a quad injury, but he came out and said that he was fine. So I'm sure they just kept him out of over precaution.
Yeah, I mean this game was a lot of fun to watch in general. Like George Kittle scoring a touchdown for me was good, but Deebo Samuel apparently got hurt in this game. He's out for a few weeks.
Couple weeks.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey, obviously, that news is pretty crazy. It just seems to be, the onion of fantasy news this year. That's just keep peeling back the layers on that one, and it stinks.
I never even got to play him.
Before you traded him away in week 2?
Yeah.
That's sad.
It's sad.
It really is sad. But I mean,
it makes me so sad.
It's one of those things, man. Something always happens to you. I mean, you may be the new Madden curse. It may not be Madden.
Maybe.
If you hold this player, this is not a good year. For
Mark's the fantasy reaper.
Maybe.
Next game is Seattle, New England.
I have a lot to say about this game.
We all picked. It looks like 2, 4, 6 of us picked New England on this, which was right.
Split half and half.
Pretty close. It's 4 and 6. Most of us got it right, and it was just basically.
Oh, are there only 10 of us doing this?
Yeah.
Because there's only 11, and Corey hasn't made his pick. So
right, correct.
Thank you for the donation, Corey. I appreciate it.
So Seattle won this game. This game was. It felt like it was like
New England had this game. Whoever is play calling, I don't know. I should know that, but I don't know that. Who is calling our plays? Did a shit fucking job in the second half. We had that game in the first half, and then we just went the most conservative play calling I've ever seen a professional football team do in the second half, and we just sat down and let them come back and beat us in overtime. And then we punted on 4th and 1 in overtime, knowing damn well that all they had to do was go like 30 yards before they could kick a field goal. Fucking bullshit. We should have won this game, not just covered this spread. We should have won the game.
It was one of those games that it felt, again, like I imagine that, when Drake May comes in and he feels confident, like, you can do something, because it feels like the offensive line has bright moments, like they're giving Jacoby all day to make bad decisions. And then, you got guys like Polk, who had a touchdown that week and he looked good. You have,
Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry had a lot of plays where he got thrown, a ball either behind the line of scrimmage, or it was like a broken play that he happened to get open for or something, and gets the first down on a big play. So
Antonio Gibson had a lot of looks.
Antonio Gibson did look good.
I think he finished with like 10 points.
He had 11 carries, maybe like 90 yards, 92 yards.
Yeah, he spouted off a couple for like 10, 15 yards. He actually looked pretty good, and Ramondre continued to look good this week. Again, Brissett looked good for the first half, and then just terrible for the second half, and we didn't throw the ball for the second half. So,
damn Patriots.
Yeah, disappointing.
Not to me.
Me either. Next game is the Jets and the Titans. I didn't watch this game a lot because, I don't know, I don't have a lot of stake in either of these two teams, but also I'm the friendly neighborhood Aaron Rodgers hater. So the funny thing to me about this is seeing the clip of the coach of Tennessee and Will Levis getting into like an argument or a screaming match.
Did you see his quote?
Yeah, and then he said it after the game that he was mad at him for a dumb fumble. I love when head coaches are, outward and open about their quarterbacks.
I want to get Brian's thoughts on this because he has Will Levis. I wonder if he like screams and when he sees these plays and he's just like 1 week away from benching him and just not even starting a second quarterback at this point because he's a little weird. Will Levis is a
Will
weird
Levis
guy.
is weird.
He's weird in general with the mayonnaise stuff and all that other shit that came out before the draft or during the draft. And then when you watch him play, there's just a bunch of weird shit happening. So it's a weird time if you're a Titans fan or Will Levis fan.
So his quote is, so apparently he was quoted on the sidelines, like Greg said, screaming, and people were lip reading, and he said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then in the press conference, his quote was, "I was upset. It was dumb. It was the exact thing he did last week, and he cost us points in the red zone."
Yeah, get called out, dog. Step your shit up.
Not what you want to hear.
I am curious if Brian is like a Will Levis truther or if he, just is playing what he got kind of thing. So
I think he's playing what he has, and unfortunately,
Didn't he
has Will
trade
Levis.
for Will Levis?
Yeah, he traded me for Will Levis. I don't know what
What'd
he
you
gave me.
get
I don't
for that.
I
Go
want to
look
say
that-
Rashid Shaheed. Actually,
Go look
now I
that
think
trade
about
up. Let's see how bad that
Let's
trade
see.
was for Brian.
Let's see. I remember it being Rashid Shaheed, if I am not mistaken.
I think you got a first for Will Levis.
Someone else looked that up. Actually, I can't look that up on my desktop. Unfortunately, I can look it up on my phone real quick. Sorry. But yeah, I think I got a pick. I want to say I got Rashid Shaheed as well. Which, if that is the case, it might have been good for me here. All right. So last year, I traded him. I want to say towards the end of the year. Yeah. Oh no, I got Kyron Williams. Kyron. I gave him a second round pick and Will Levis for Kyron Williams. So
I feel like that's a
won that?
win for you.
Yeah, I would want Kyron out of that trade.
no one knows. I mean, it's the second
for
year,
the
right?
rest of the season, though, if the Rams' injuries continue to pile up, they're not going to have a fucking team left.
If you have any other secondary receivers, might be a good time to look at them over the next couple weeks. They really don't have anything else.
Don't have anything else.
Next game is the Commanders and the Giants. Most of us picked the Commanders and got this one correct.
Anthony has a lot to say about this game.
Alex and Ryan are the two that picked the Giants. Anthony didn't even pick the Giants.
I don't have any faith in the Giants. I mean, the funny thing is going into this game, Daniel Jones was like 5-1 all time against the Commanders. I think his first game when he, his rookie year, I think when he his first start, he had that was his best career game. I want to say, definitely in fantasy. I'm pretty sure. I think he threw like 4 touchdowns or something like that. But, yeah, they lost their kicker in the first play of the game. They lost. He had a groin injury coming into the game, and Austin Eckler took one back he ran it for a touchdown that got called back, but the kicker decided he was going to chase after Austin Eckler as if he could do anything. And so he had a hamstring injury. And, the Giants went for 2 every time after that, and they missed it, and Commanders won. Malik Neighbors did look pretty good.
Yo, he is so good.
Out of everything that's going on with the Giants right now, we think the defense is supposed to be better. We got Brian Burns. It's not. I mean, against the Commanders, it didn't look great. I mean, we didn't allow a touchdown, but they didn't punt a single time, so it doesn't look great. But Malik Neighbors, they threw a lot of they had a lot of curl routes. A lot of that was Malik Neighbors after the catch doing what he does.
Yeah, he did kind of cost them the game though.
He did.
At the same time.
But he did own up to it. He's a rookie, man, and it's going to happen. And he owned up to it after the game, and was very disappointed. You could see.
Immediately he was like,
it wasn't good.
Head down on the ground. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There's it is what it is. I mean, the Giants are not good.
How do you feel about our bet?
Not great.
Yeah,
not great. The Patriots don't look as bad as we thought they were going to look. Potentially, at least me, maybe because I just want them to look bad, but the Giants look bad.
I came into this season thinking that the Giants were a bottom 5 team. And
I see that.
I think the Patriots are a bottom 5 team as well.
They're just number 5.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, that's possible. Who knows? But we have a long season to go. I don't know. We'll see.
I just feel like I got to bring up, I'm sure everybody saw it, but the stat that the New York Giants scored 3 touchdowns, gave up 0 touchdowns, and lost the game.
First time that ever happened in the regular season. It's very sad.
Pretty crazy.
Again, I don't care that we lose games. It's the way that we lose them. That's what makes it sad. And it was sad. It was not a good one.
Devin Singletary had himself a game, 95 yards.
He played pretty well. He had some good
touchdown.
runs. Offensive line is better, I think. That's not the problem anymore, unfortunately. I think the excuse was Daniel Jones doesn't have an offensive line. Offensive line has not looked terrible. They've given him some time the first 2 games, and he just sucks. So
I think he just sucks.
what can you do?
Yeah, he had that one play where I think you guys were going for 2, and he like rolls out to like the sideline and like chucks it to Malik Neighbors, and no one catches it or anything, but they like called him out of bounds before he even threw the ball, essentially, and it's just like, come on now. All right, the next game is Arizona and the Rams. Sorry. We were pretty split on this, 4-6. The 4 of us that picked Arizona got it right. That's me, Ryan, Adrian, and Rob. Arizona dominated this game.
Mm-hmm. Marvin Harrison
got his first touchdown, and then he got his second touchdown.
Did you see his fun stat?
No, I don't think so.
So he is the first rookie wide receiver to have 4 catches and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter of a game since 1996 when Marvin Harrison Sr. did it.
Nice. Representing dad well, you know. Turns out preparing for the season like a professional might be a good idea. Yeah, I mean, this game was a lot of fun to watch. This was one of those that I didn't see from start to finish, but kind of kept my eye on because Arizona looks like a really fun offense to kind of pay attention to. Kyler Murray is just a lot of fun. I know I traded him away a year ago, a couple years ago, but
honestly, I think that's fine.
I think he's fun to root for. You know, that's kind of my point.
We can't leave this game without talking about the fact that the Rams are decimated by injuries. So Puka's going on the IR and expected to miss 5 to 7 weeks, I think is what I heard.
Yeah.
And then now Kupp is going to make his way onto the IR more than likely and miss at least 4 games.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
And then they lost, I think, every starter on the offensive line.
Wow.
I didn't know
Just
that.
last week?
In the first 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. They've lost, I think it's every single starter. If not every single starter, I think one of them is playing with an injury.
So RIP to the running backs, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You mean Kyron Williams?
Kyron Williams and
Yes.
Matt Stafford, which is a problem for Matt Stafford because he's made of glass. Like, that boy's going to get broken.
He's only got a certain amount of hits left before he's retired.
Right.
So next game is Pittsburgh and Denver.
Did not watch this.
Yeah, we didn't watch this game.
But I'm so happy Denver lost. I love seeing Denver fans sad. It's one of my favorite things.
For those that don't know, Mark and the 3 of us are local to Denver. And the funny thing about Broncos fans is that they're basically like New England fans. They're real proud of their team for the history that they think they have. They all seem to be applying all of their favorite Broncos stickers onto their vehicles while intoxicated at the tailgate. None of them are correct orientation or anything.
Have you ever noticed that, Anthony?
I work with a lot of Broncos fans.
Okay, have you seen their cars?
I haven't seen their cars, no.
Okay, ask to see their car. Ask them if they have Broncos stickers on their car. And if they say yes, ask to see them. Because when I say stickers, I mean stickers, plural, a lot of them.
Like Ryan's car
Like, you know
and
those-
college stickers.
No, not sticker bumped. That would be cool, right? That'd be cooler.
Yeah.
But what they do, you know those sticker packs that you can buy for sports teams
On like
where
Amazon?
where it just comes with like 20 stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah. We think that that's what Denver Broncos fans purchase for bumper stickers.
Yeah.
And then they use each and every single one of those stickers and they just kind of put them on haphazardly. Like the Bronco is always like facing the wrong direction or it's facing up instead of being kind of sideways and down. Like it's never
Just get your
how
car
it's
wraps.
supposed to be.
Just get a Bronco car. Just get a wrap. Put a fat head on the trunk or something.
So anytime the Broncos lose, it puts a smile on my face.
Don't give them that idea, you know. Fun fact, we live directly, and I mean directly south of Bronco Stadium. And so anytime they have a home game, the flyover happens over our house. So
that's cool. I didn't know that either.
the big 130 came over this time while I was laying in the yard with the dogs. It was pretty cool.
That shit was low too.
Yeah. I mean, the stadium's right there.
That
so
shit-
like,
but it's not usually that low. That like flew over and I was like, damn.
They stage the helicopters.
crashing?
They stage the helicopters when they do the helicopters one over our thing. So, all right. The next game is the Kansas City Cincinnati game. We all got this wrong. All of us. We all picked Kansas City, and Cincinnati only lost by 1, so they covered the spread. I didn't watch this game. We were doing stuff that afternoon, doing a lot of chores and stuff.
From what the internet told me, yet again, the referees were up Pat Mahomes' asshole and weren't calling
Jersey
false
swap.
starts, weren't calling holding plays against the Chiefs. They were just letting it all slide. And they won because they were able to kick a fucking field goal.
I don't think anybody fantasy wise from this game, like on either side, was super relevant. Obviously you have the injury to Pacheco, which sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
That's a big injury.
It's a big one, but as far as like if you were looking for points this week, even from Mahomes, you didn't get it. I think Joe Burrow had a pretty decent game, but I don't think anybody really stood out as far as fantasy goes.
I know Jamar Chase had a really rough game.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Xavier Worthy did not do what he did last week. Travis Kelce is just
T. Higgins was out again. So
Rashi was 5 for 6, 75 yards and a touchdown.
so a good game.
relevant, but not super great.
16 points.
Not a lot of game
Yoshivas
changers.
had 2 touchdowns.
Who?
Yeah. Andre Yoshivas on the Bengals.
receiver.
Yeah,
Yes.
receivers. He
Yes.
had 2 touchdowns. That's
Yeah.
fun to see. For me, because he's on my team.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
bet. Like, going forward with Pacheco being hurt, who do you think they go to?
I mean, they brought Kareem Hunt in.
They did bring Kareem Hunt in.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire is real bad.
And he's hurt. When is he probably coming back in like a week or
I
so,
don't
right?
know if it matters.
You have P. Ryan
And
and
you got Steele.
Carson Steele.
You got your boy.
A lot of people are looking at Carson Steele. Like if you saw him in the preseason, he's another one who runs hard. He's listed as a fullback, I think, just because. I don't know if he's their actual fullback or not, but when they ran him out of the backfield, he looked pretty strong. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with that. Mainly for my future. Maybe he looks really good and they decide, well, we need to run a 2-back system next year or something. We'll see. I don't know.
I just want to say real quick that Mike Gesicki this week was 7 of 9 with 91 yards. So
Wow.
he's at least being involved in the offense.
You started him, right?
In one league, I did, yeah.
You started him in which league?
Not a league that's relevant to this podcast.
Oh. Do you have him in this?
You have him.
I have him in not in
Who
this
has him?
league.
You.
Oh.
No, I have
Make a
him
trade.
in the
Greg,
Legends
let's
of
make
Lore.
a trade.
No, that's Mark's. Mark hears that in his sleep.
No.
Uh-huh.
Let's make a trade. You can wake him up. Let's make a trade. He'll wake up with a smile.
That'd be great. He'd be like, wow, babe, that's so amazing.
No thanks.
You want breakfast in bed? No. Let's make a trade.
Let's make a trade.
So the next game is a Sunday night game. It is the Houston Chicago game. Anthony's the only one that got this game right.
I did something right. You never take advice from me, but look, I can get things right every now and then. I know a little something.
Well, what made you pick Chicago in this game? By the way, you're second to last.
I know, so don't take advice from me. Just this game was a fluke. I don't know. I felt like Chicago would have a bounce back game offensively. Clearly, they did not. They were able to cover, so that was good. Obviously,
What was the spread?
I think it was 6.5, and they
6.5,
won
so they covered
by half. Yeah, and so like I legitimately didn't think Houston's defense was gonna like. I mean, I guess with like having Caleb Williams and like it's a whole like they stopped the hell out of Chicago. DeAndre Swift, if you have Swift, I'm sorry. If you have any of their running backs, you're not doing anything. Caleb was getting attacked.
Didn't they
hard.
basically just like kick a bunch of field goals back and forth? Isn't that kind of what happened in this game?
I feel like somebody scored.
I think Nico scored.
Nico scored for Houston. I can't remember who scored for. Did Caleb throw a touchdown?
Khalil Herbert scored.
Okay,
for Chicago.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, but like they're everything about Chicago's offense did not look good.
Caleb was pressured on like
A lot.
80% of his dropbacks or something like that.
The fourth quarter was rough. Like that's really. I watched the second half, and the interceptions he threw were not great. He didn't look great, but I mean, I think he has too much talent for this to be what it's going to be every week. But If you invested in Caleb, you've got to wait a little longer. But the offense did not.
I invested in Caleb in a couple
Sorry.
leagues. No, he'll be good.
I think Caleb will be perfectly fine. They just have to A, give him time. B, they got to fix their offensive line. And they can do that in the draft and free agency. I know Bears fans thought they were going to fucking win the Super Bowl this year, but I don't think that was a realistic expectation this year.
I mean, I thought they would definitely be better. It's just the offense. I mean, the offense has been so hyped.
Yeah,
like
for
coming
sure.
into the season, and like, I mean,
they lost Keenan Allen. So,
That's rough.
When he comes back, that might open it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Odunze was playing hurt, so when he's healthy, that might open up a little bit more. DeAndre Swift is not looking good, but that's probably partially the offensive line.
I was going to say that probably has a lot to do with the same things that are happening to Caleb with I saw some random stat that it's like he's like one of the highest pressured quarterbacks as a rookie. I don't remember what the stat was. So
yeah,
but it's
like
crazy.
I said, he's pressured on a lot of his dropbacks.
And I thought Cole Kmet would be getting way more looks than he's getting. I know they're running a 2 tight end system with Everett, but like from what he was doing last year, you would think Caleb would, or they would draw some stuff up to go to him at least a little bit. They're not giving him anything. It's tough if you have Cole Kmet. I think he was projected to be I don't know if he was projected to be a top 5, but
he definitely was. His name was dropped a lot.
Yeah, he was. He ended last year as a top 5. I want to say
Cole
Kmet.
Yeah,
and he hasn't been involved, right?
Not at all.
Yeah,
it's. But again, that could be a part of he's blocking maybe for the offensive line that just needs. Maybe they just need a lot of help. I don't know, but nothing. Not a lot's being drawn up for him. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. I think they'll be fine. Long term. So I'm not really worried about him.
Okay, and then there's the game tonight. Right now, the only person who has the pick correct is Rob again, which I think puts him in the lead overall with 17 total right picks. So we'll see if Atlanta can stay covering the 6.5 point spread or if something happens before the end of the game. It's in the fourth quarter right now. So the next we're going to go through the weekly matchups. We had some predictions that we made last week. Some of them were right, some of them were not right. And some of them are really, 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 really close. So let's see. First of all, we picked Adrian to win his game over Ryan. Right now, that looks to be the way that it went.
That's a win unless there's a stat correction, which this is an IDP league, so stat corrections are pretty common with tackles being moved to half tackles or assisted tackles versus solo tackles. So stat corrections are pretty common. I think those come out Wednesday.
It also goes the other way too, where all of a sudden, like somebody gets like account for a half a sack that he maybe only got account for like a QB rush before. So
right.
You know what my takeaway from this game is that this is the second week in a row this has happened to Ryan, where it's this close. This makes me like just incredibly happy. I love this.
No, didn't Ryan beat me week 1?
No.
Oh no, that was in the other league. Just kidding.
Ryan lost to Scamma Gemma last week by a little over a point.
Yep.
And this week the same thing's gonna happen to Adrian. And honestly, I hope Adrian holds that. And Ryan, I'm sorry, I need you to lose as much as possible. And if they're all like this, it would make it even better.
Okay, so the next pick we had was we all picked Mark to win over Alex.
Wah, wah, wah.
That is not what happened. Malik Willis had an okay game. I guess, though, let's look at, Alvin Kamara, Derek Carr, and even Mason Crosby.
Max Crosby.
I'm sorry, not the kicker. Those three alone had, almost 100 points. So that's pretty impressive. Good job, Alex. Turns out you might have a little idea of what you're talking about.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe.
Don't give him that. He got lucky AF this week.
Yeah, I will say that that's true because if you look, Rashad White got hurt and was out for the rest of the game. Cooper Kupp got hurt, was out for the game. Amari Cooper didn't get a whole lot of action. Sam Laporta was out. So his team went down pretty bad. If it didn't take, it took 3 pretty big hitters for him to survive this week. And your team to underperform in a couple spots as well.
That's unfortunate. This is kind of what we talked about last week, right? Where something just always kind of happens to Mark's team here. And it wasn't that there weren't big injuries. Obviously, you're out. Christian McCaffrey you have in this league, correct? Or you had him?
I just traded him.
So that's unfortunate. But I mean, with Tua going down, it hurts your team, right?
Yeah, it hurts Tyreek.
Mark Andrews just not performing again. He did have 9 points, but not a Mark
It's
Andrews
not
game.
what I want.
I will say this though on Alex's behalf, his team. I mean, he scored a lot of points this week. He got kind of lucky. The Saints are not going to do this every week, so Carr is going to see a big drop. I feel like Kamara is going to see a big drop, and he doesn't have a lot of depth considering Cooper Kupp's going to be out. I don't. Did you say Rashad White is not a big injury?
Rashad White is hurt. I don't know what his injury is.
Yeah,
though.
I know. I remember he left that game pretty early. So
I mean, looking at his
a
bench,
groin injury.
Oh,
Ooh,
McGroin.
yeah, you don't want that. Yeah, I mean Keenan Allen not being. I mean he has a lot of holes. So I think enjoy the first 2 weeks, Alex. But I think after this week, I think you're going to see a big drop.
Honestly, I don't think Alex thinks he's going to win. I think he's just really excited that he beat me.
Yeah, 100%.
It's exciting to
he's
do
literally
this, too.
been saying this whole time that he wants nothing more than to take down your superhero team. So
Small
Should I
victories.
just to fuck with him because he in the chat right now he said, "Man, sure hope Bijan doesn't get 3 touchdowns this last quarter." Should I just add 20 points to my team real quick?
no, don't do that.
We'll turn away. We won't. No one will look.
No one will say anything.
No one watched this game
No.
anyways.
What are you talking about?
Next on the list was me winning over Corey, and that also didn't happen.
Wah, wah, wah.
Thanks a lot, Aiden Hutchinson, and frankly the rest of Corey's defense.
Dude, that boy is so good.
His lowest defender scored 13 points. 2 of them scored 13 and a half, 18, and 36 points from his defense
Well,
alone.
According to Ryan, defense wins second place.
I mean,
Not
but
this
like
year,
he's
Ryan.
another one that like Kyler Murray scored 34 points. Aiden Hutchinson
Kyler went
scored
off.
36 points. And then you look on my team and I had a Brandon Ayuk having a bad week. I had a Jalen Waddle having a bad week. And then Juwan Bentley leaving the game in the first quarter and leaving me a goose egg is super hurtful as well. Oh yeah, and Tua, by the way, that also destroyed my week.
Yeah. Okay. Next one.
Rob winning over Brian.
Nope. Not
Nope.
gonna happen.
Not going to happen. Yep. I mean, the game is still what?
Uh,
We're in the final 2 minutes here.
Yeah.
Who has the ball? Oh yeah. Sorry, Rob. Scamma jamma, if you will. You're done.
You're done.
You cooked. I'm ready for your tantrum.
I mean, this is an exciting like matchup though, right? Like
Yeah, like I said, I'd be so mad if I'm either one of them. If I'm Scamma Jam, if I'm Robbie right now, I'm so mad that I put up 188 points and lost.
imagine being Brian on like Thursday night with James Cook scoring 3 touchdowns
Right.
and you've got confidence going into the week like, yeah, I'm good. And then all of a sudden you turn around and you've got Justin Jefferson having the week he had. Thank you, Anthony, for giving him that piece.
You're welcome.
Marvin Harrison scoring his first and second touchdown, and Malik Neighbors scoring a whole lot of points too. So it was the week of the rookies for Rob.
Yep. His team's good.
It was good, just not good enough. But also, I didn't realize that Brian didn't start Will Levis. So my bad earlier for saying you did. But it's just interesting to think if you have any opinions on how bad he is, I would love to know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Geno Smith and Trevor Lawrence were the better picks there. That's definitely who I would have picked as well.
Damn, Josh Jacobs ran for 151 yards and only had 12 points. I mean,
Yeah,
didn't
because
have
he
any
didn't
touchdowns,
score
but
anything.
It seems like a lot to not a lot of yards for that many points.
I mean, it's only what 1 point for every 10 yards, right?
you just I see 151 and it just jumps out.
It's because he fumbled and lost
Yeah.
the fumble.
Yeah, that's true.
So he would have had 15 points.
Yeah, son of a gun.
The last one is Coulter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got that one right. Coulter 177 and 133.
What a surprise.
What a surprise.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say.
Nah, pretty much
No.
to be expected. How do you feel about Anthony Richardson 2 weeks in?
I still love him. It's not as strong a love as it was last week. And maybe my love will come back and it will get better, but I don't know.
His completion percentage improved. He got to 50%.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, I think when I was I did watch some of this game. I watched the end of this game. A lot of his completions came towards the end of the game when they were trying to come back. I think he threw his only touchdown in the last like 30 seconds or something like that. But
If you count his interceptions, he was above 50%.
yeah, you could do that. I mean, a player caught it, so that's cool.
Somebody caught it. It did not touch the ground.
But yeah, I think this will probably be the only week where Daniel Jones has 20 plus points, or I don't know if they play Carolina this year. I don't know what other bad defense they're going to play besides Washington. But
trade him while he's hot, dog.
Is he hot though? Is that hot? 178 yards, 2 TDs. He did carry the ball a little bit. If anybody wants Daniel Jones, I'm always open. I'm never gonna not at least listen for a Daniel Jones trade.
$1.
What are you willing to pay us to take him from you?
$10.
Can I get Daniel Jones in a first just for taking him off your team, or?
No, I don't. I ain't gonna do that. But
I'll give you $5 in fab.
Thanks.
The last game is we picked Bo over Matt. And that was correct. So Bo did what Bo's going to do. Matt was starting We're starting Zach Charbonnet, who had 15 points, which is good, but
saved by a touchdown.
That probably didn't feel good when you put that start in, even though Kenneth Walker isn't going to play. Zach Charbonnet didn't look that great last week, so
I feel like Matt's team. So Matt was like, "Why do you guys hate my team?" I jokingly was like, "That's going to cost you extra." But I feel like Matt's team has some good pieces. He's built that team up from the ground. So him and Scamajama and Brian and Adrian kind of too all got kind of the short end of the stick when they came into the league. So I'm impressed with the way that they're building their teams.
It's got a lot of good young players.
Yeah,
especially they have a lot of depth if they turn out to be anything. Matt, I think is going to be good in the next, year or so, 2 years, potentially.
Yeah, for sure.
He also has my favorite linebacker in Fred Warner, who had a great game this week.
Old man Warner.
Yeah. Okay. What's next?
Weekly overreactions.
Weekly overreactions. Malik Neighbors is the fucking truth.
Do you think
that's an overreaction, though? Is it?
I don't know.
Who finishes higher, Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors? Call it, Greg.
I think Marvin Harrison finishes higher just because he has a more competent quarterback throwing him the ball.
I think you have to go that way.
And even though Malik Neighbors will be hyper targeted this year, I just think that, like Anthony said earlier, it was a lot of Malik, not a lot of the offense or Daniel Jones helping him downfield.
Malik Neighbors had 18 targets. 18 targets. 66% of the targets went to that guy. Pretty wild.
My overreaction is that Travis Kelce is a decoy in that offense.
I don't know if that's an overreaction either.
He had one good play that got called back for a penalty, for a holding call. He's not doing much, and he didn't do much last year either.
He started off pretty well.
Yeah, I think they're using him more as a hey, pay attention to him because we will throw it to him if you leave him open, but we're going to target our young, fast receivers instead. Maybe that changes now that Pacheco is out because they've been leaning on him. And like I said, I thought they were going to run through Isaiah and just let that be their offense. So now without him, maybe they go back to Travis.
Here's a question. Do they have this mindset, are they doing what they did last year where, let's say when it's preseason, you have a lot of teams that are just running very vanilla, nothing special. They don't want to give anything away. They're just seeing how good players are. Are the Chiefs kind of guaranteeing that they're going to go to the playoffs and they're doing this during the regular season? And then all of a sudden come late season and playoff time is when they all of a sudden show you what they're actually going to run? Because it feels very just like we're going to do the same thing. And then Pat Mahomes kind of figures it out in the game. It doesn't feel like there's much of a game plan at a lot of times.
I don't know if it's that, but I do think that there's an element to it because you saw this a lot with the Patriots too. I think that there's an element to just you played a longer season and you played a longer season back to back and you're tired. And you're learning your team and your new offense with the pieces that you have, and you're trying to mold that together to work. And these teams that do know that they're playoff bound can be a little bit more conservative as long as they are winning games. And it takes them a while to get started again. You saw that a lot with the Patriots. We started out slow. Somehow we ended up still winning most of the games that we had, but we weren't lighting it up. And then by week 10, we were lighting it up because we had figured out our offense. So I think that's what the Chiefs did last year, because I didn't think they were going to win last year. And then week 17, they were like, fuck you guys.
Right. They like somehow look like they've had it together all along, which is mind blowing. Any overreactions, Anthony?
Yeah, I think maybe I would say my week 2, or I guess my weekly overreaction this week would be that I think the Saints are for real. I think they. I mean,
You're only
statistically,
saying that because your wife's a Saints fan.
I know, but
I do think it's a good one to at least talk about.
Yeah, but I think it's like, I mean, I'm like looking at the statistics. I mean, even if you just don't look at the statistics, I mean, obviously you see what they did to the Panthers the first week, and you just say, okay, well, I think we were watching the pre-show for that, and I think Clarissa Shields is like, albeit the Panthers is why the Saints did what they did, but then they do the same thing to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys like. They didn't really add too much in the offseason, so I think their defense for the most part came back. They added Eric Kendricks, who, you know, he's an older linebacker, but he's a veteran linebacker who isn't, he isn't a bad linebacker who just scored that. I'm sorry. Is that Drake London?
Yep.
That's Drake London. Well, we didn't cover that game. But yeah, I mean, they're averaging 11 yards per attempt, and Derek Carr is right now. Only thrown 1 interception through 2 games, has a 139 quarterback rating. The offensive line has only given up 2 sacks to a team like the Cowboys, who are as good as they are getting to the quarterback. It's a little surprising. Again, overreaction. It's just week 2, but their offense looks pretty dominant. Anybody who's scoring 4 touchdowns in a game against a defense like that, you could say it's a fluke, against the Panthers, but I don't think you could say it's a fluke against the Cowboys. So.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I agree with you about not being a fluke against the Cowboys, because I do think they're a good team. But I do disagree with you that the Saints can do this all season.
I don't think they can do it all season. I think that they are like, I mean, look at the Ravens. They don't look good. You think they're gonna get better at some point because they just have the talent to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas the Saints, they don't have necessarily the.
I believe in Lamar Jackson. I don't believe in Derek Carr.
Yeah, they don't have the offensive talent to do what a lot of today's NFL is, right? A lot of scrambling and improvising, which is not what Derek Carr is. I think the second Derek Carr has a bad game or has a stretch of bad games, people are going to be calling to bring in Spencer Rattler, and maybe that's more exciting. But I think they're good, man. They look good.
I don't think Spencer's going to be called for this season unless
I think the
season goes down the drain real quick.
Yes, I could agree with that. I think whenever you have anybody who shows up in the preseason who looks even remotely good, I think. And the funny thing is that Derek Carr
is like, oh, what could he be? He could be
he
Derek
was a
Carr.
solid college quarterback, right? I didn't watch anything.
Spencer Rattler?
Yeah, he was a pretty solid college quarterback.
He lost
right?
his job to a freshman, Caleb Williams.
Well, that's Caleb Williams. He was good in college, right?
Yeah.
Not bad. So
he won the Heisman that year.
Was that a real question?
No, he didn't win the Heisman that year.
No, not his freshman year.
I don't know shit about college.
Shit about fuck.
Anyways, but yeah, yeah, I think they can be real, and I think they will. I kind of turn. Again, weekly overreaction, but I think they are the favorites to win the division at the moment.
Players on the rise, or players that you're panicked on?
Players I'm panicked on. All of my Dolphins players, I'm panicking on them. I think that it's warranted, but yeah, I mean, Jalen Waddle, again, like Devon Achane looks good. I think that Raheem Mostert being out definitely helped him, but we saw Jalen Wright come in and have a couple carries, and is it Jeff Wilson came in and had
a few carries.
Had a few carries as well. And, both looked okay. So just one of those things where once Tua went out, the entire team just gave up at that point. So basically the whole, fourth quarter of that game felt like that no one was really paying attention and no one wanted to continue to keep playing. So, yep, that's my panic. Dolphins.
I'm going to go with players on the rise. Actually, I'm going to go players that you want to panic about. I think you want to panic Sam Laporta.
Yeah, a little bit.
honestly, anybody. I mean, I don't want to say anybody in the the Detroit offense.
Amon-Ra's okay.
No, they look good, but I think that it's just. I think because of what you're seeing, where Sam Laporta's not getting a lot of looks right now. They have so many weapons, and it's like who's gonna get what each week.
Yeah.
Amaron didn't have a good first week. Had a great second week.
Yep.
Williams is obviously a new favorite target in that offense as well.
Yeah,
So
and had a great first week. Didn't have a good same second week, but I think what he had a solid game.
He still had a solid game.
But it's one of those where like who the alpha is. It should be Amon-Ra St.
Falcons
Brown.
just won.
Oh no!
They just picked him off.
Honestly, that's a good thing. Fuck the Eagles. But
Yeah,
anyways,
fuck the Eagles.
I didn't cover anyway, so I can give two shits. But
that means that Rob wins. The only one that got it right.
oh, good job, Rob.
Yeah. So I'm rising on a couple of players, but the one that I'll call out, I've already kind of said, is Rashid. I do think
Shaheed,
that
baby.
he is going to be involved in that offense way more than he has previously, and I think that's a good thing for the overall offense. So I do think that he's more valuable than he was just a couple months ago.
Do you think that you like with how high Olave was in a lot of drafts this year? Would you panic on Olave if Shaheed's rising?
No.
Yeah.
No. From what I saw of his involvement this week, because last week Olave was my panic player, I think.
Okay.
Because he was not involved week 1, but it seems that Squeaky Wheel got the grease and Olave was more involved in week 2.
I've never heard that. Squeaky wheel got the grease.
You've never heard that before?
I've never heard that.
What?
I just thought it was interesting.
Huh.
No.
Squeaky wheel
I've
gets
heard
the
you
grease.
put grease on squeaky
Yeah.
wheels. I know that. I've never heard that term before. I like that.
And then players I'm panicked on. One from my team, Garrett Wilson. Aaron Rodgers
It's not
doesn't
good.
look great.
Nope.
Did you guys see? I think it was against the 49ers, so it wasn't this week, but did you see his throw chart at all?
No.
He basically had like one throw to anything past the right side of the hash, like the right hash mark.
Oh.
It
Is that because he can't pivot on that ankle?
maybe, but I mean, it's just one of those things where, it just clearly, if you're not on that side of the play, at least week 1, because I haven't seen anything from week 2, but at least with week 1, if you weren't on that left side of the field, you weren't going to get an attention.
Week 1, I know I saw the stat line that he threw to only 3 receivers. Like only 3 receivers caught a pass from Aaron Rodgers, and that's the fewest in his career.
Interesting.
The other player that I'm a little panicked on, not on my team, is Jamar Chase.
Oh, that's rough.
Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow don't seem to be on the same page. It seems like Jamar Chase is not in football shape and not getting open. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't care because he didn't get a contract from this team.
He was seen throwing kind of I don't want to say a tantrum because
he wasn't getting the ball.
It was a
yeah.
tantrum.
Yeah.
Definite tantrum for
So
sure.
again, maybe Squeaky Wheel gets the grease and next week he's fine. But until I see that, I'm a little nervous. I have him in a couple leagues. I know Corey has him in this league, but I have him in a couple of spots and I'm nervous about him.
Yeah. I think honestly you should just be panicking in general if you had anybody who got hurt panic for the entire NFL. I feel like everybody is getting hurt.
Everybody.
It's such a weird first couple of weeks, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you kind of expect it, right? But it just all the star players, all your first round picks that you went after in all your other leagues this year, they're not playing, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Player on the rise. Just want to throw this out there. Andy Dalton scooped him up when we were on first come first serve over the weekend, and that seems to be a potential
Literal rise.
I'm saying,
He
baby,
rose from the couch. And
he was the backup. Calm down.
All right, real quick. It looks like Corey has solidified high score this week at 199.
Yeah, Drake London getting that final touchdown put him up pretty high.
Yep.
I will say that
Who
obviously
did he take it from? He took it from Brian.
Brian, yeah. Brian had it at 191 for a minute when I was last looking. And then, yeah, Drake London getting that last touchdown gave him 14.4 points. I will say that obviously I needed absolute miracle, but Saquon and Kirk Cousins still had respectable weeks. So we'll keep pushing.
Yeah, for sure.
Kirk Cousins, baby.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back previewing next week, and we got a couple add-ons from your feedback. So we'll be right back.
And we're back. So now we are going to get into the weekly preview. I think we're going to go matchup by matchup here and kind of discuss a little bit and see if we can get our predictions as right as we did this week. I mean, I think we did well this week, right?
What was our record?
I don't know. I didn't actually keep track.
Let's see.
3-3.
So we went 3-3.
500, baby.
So basically, we flipped a coin.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm saying.
All right. So where are we starting off with this week, Greg?
So the first matchup will be mine against Coulter's. I'm going to lose this week. I don't know. I'm at that point where it's like my team, I'm going to be starting some players I probably don't feel comfortable starting. I'm praying that maybe Evan Ingram comes back to help me feel a little bit more comfortable about playing a player. I think that he's a security blanket for Trevor Lawrence, and I want him to come back. But
okay, but realistically, you're down a quarterback. You have to play somebody other than Tua. That's the only player.
Jalen Waddle.
Okay, but he's still playing.
But he's not going to be a comfortable start for me.
Okay. So you have two players that are affected by one player being out. Everybody else is fine.
You actually get a little bit of a boost because Debo will be out, so you'll have Ayuk and Kittle. So you should see more targets at the very least. And they're playing the Rams, who are not good.
Listen, I don't appreciate the logic while I'm trying to spiral here about fantasy. Okay.
That being said, I do think Coulter beats you.
Of course he does.
But I don't think you need to be all, oh my God, my team is so bad.
Well,
I'm going to go with the upset, and Greg is going to win this game.
Thanks, dog. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I got you, dog.
All right. So sorry a little bit if it's weird here in the podcast. We're going to have to edit this later. Mine stopped recording again. This happened last week as well. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but hopefully it's not too weird of a cut there. But just to recap from where we left off, I think that Coulter is going to beat Greg. Greg thinks that Coulter is going to beat Greg, but Anthony thinks that Greg is going to beat Coulter. And we're going to start tracking from here on each individual on those predictions.
Team backup QB, baby.
Next matchup is Mark versus Matt. I think that Mark should win this. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, I think. Mark had some bad breaks, but I'm going to go Mark here too. I do like Coulter's team, or not Coulter. Sorry, I do like Matt's team a little bit. Actually, I don't like it that much. I'm gonna go Mark. We're just gonna go there.
You saw Josh Allen. You were like, I like his team a little bit. No, just kidding. I don't like anything beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also gonna take me over Matt here. Yes, Tyreek Hill probably isn't gonna blow up on my team, but other than that, I'm all right.
Oh, boo-hoo. Next matchup is Ryan versus Brian. I probably take Ryan in this one. Ramondre Stevenson has been looking really good. Mike Evans has been looking really good with Baker. I know you said Travis Kelce's a decoy, but I don't know. I think overall his team can kind of go off, and I think they're going to kind of go back to where they were at. I don't think James Cook scores 3 touchdowns again.
I'm going to go with Brian. As much as it doesn't really pain me as much as I know I said he has a bad team. I don't love it, to be honest with you, but I need to root against Ryan at any chance I get. I need Ryan to lose every game he can. And honestly, I expect Josh Jacobs to have a big game against Tennessee. So I'm going to go Brian.
I'm also going to go with Brian. I am real worried about Matt Stafford having nobody to throw the ball to and no offensive line to protect him. I do love the fact that he has Devontae Adams against Carolina, though. That's going to be a nice matchup. But I just think Brian's team has more depth and better overall matchups than Ryan's this week.
And also, you could just take 11-point projection for Kelce off every week because he sucks.
Okay.
Got him.
So I'm going to go ahead and say prediction, Brian. Sleeper got it wrong.
Okay. Next matchup is Bo versus Alex. I'm taking Bo all the way in this one.
Bo versus Alex, huh? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Alex got lucky this week, but
And Alex's team got beat up.
Alex's team. Is
He's got Malik Willis probably going again. Rashad White probably not playing. Cooper Kupp probably not playing. So his team's kind of beat up right now, without Jordan Love in there. So yeah, let me take Bo there.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Bo.
Next matchup is Anthony versus Corey. Give me Corey.
Give me Corey.
He just beat me up this week, so give me Corey.
Yeah, give me
Hey,
Corey.
Corey just beat you up this week? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he did just beat you up. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll take Corey. I suck. No surprise.
Okay, and next is, or last but not least, Adrian and Rob. Right now, Sleeper has Rob projected to win this one, but I don't know. I feel like Adrian's team has shown that it can absolutely go off without any real issue and go off pretty big. So
No Pacheco anymore. No Deebo Samuel.
Stephon Diggs is still look good. Justin Herbert is still look good. Chris Godwin is still look good. Give me Adrian.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a lot of depth.
Give me Rob.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Rob on this one. Sam Darnold, QB1 all the way. Best quarterback in this game. Not the game of football, but in this matchup. Yeah, but if
Just insert a clip
this
of him saying,
happens-
Sam Darnold is the best quarterback in the NFL.
If this happens, this is gonna be a prediction that is never gonna happen ever again.
No, never.
QB1.
All right. Any players that we've got our eyes on in particular this week for week 3?
I mean, I'm interested to see. I know we literally just joked about it, but I am interested to see if Sam Darnold can keep it rolling.
I'm interested in seeing Jordan Mason blow up against the Rams. The Rams obviously have not looked good, and Jordan Mason's been good in the first 2 games. I want to see him have an even better week than he's had the previous 2 games, and I think he can do it. And also, just a side note, I'm interested in seeing all these backups that are about to come out because
I was just about to say, I'm interested to see what Kansas City does at running back and see if it is Steele.
yeah, there's going to be a lot of different. There's going to be a lot of movement everywhere. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people starting players that they didn't think they'd be starting already in week 3, and a lot of waiver transactions I'm sure this week. But between the Rams, between the Chiefs, I'm interested in seeing all these backups coming out. Seeing what we're gonna get moving forward.
Nice. Couple other things that we wanted to kind of talk about this week. The polls that I put out there, everybody got it right. Brian won, right? I'm not crazy. Bo won, and then both Greg and I
he won.
lost. We did not get our Monday Night Miracles, Greg.
I mean,
Yeah.
didn't think it would happen, but I was still hopeful. Kirk Cousins still proved me that he could play
literally
football.
said,
So.
Greg, that Bijan Robinson would probably have a respectable game. He'd give me 15 points, and then I'd lose by 20. And that's pretty much exactly what happened.
We got one prediction right. There
One
you go.
prediction I got right.
Does it count? No, but that's fine.
The other thing that we wanted to do was just thank you guys for listening. We really do appreciate it. It's a lot of fun to record, but really it's only going to be fun if you guys continue to like it and give us feedback and tell us what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear. We're going to try to implement a lot of this into the podcast. Something else that we will do, hopefully starting next week, we will start doing interviews with our league mates. We're going to start with the 3 of us to kind of show you guys what we want to do with it. But then we will be asking you guys to do these interviews just because we want to make sure that everybody knows about us as much as possible. And include that as much as we can into it and just make sure that everybody's involved in this, because ultimately at the end of the day, this is for everybody here in the league. So again, we really do appreciate you guys listening. We're going to keep these rolling out. Hopefully you appreciated this. Guys, anything you want to say and add?
Yeah, and I really do hope you guys take the interview seriously in the sense that you want to do it. I don't know about a lot of you, and I would really love to learn about you as much as I want you to learn about me, because this is my favorite league. I feel like everybody's been pretty active. The polls that Mark puts out, everybody's been pretty quick to answer them, and it's really nice to have a little banter in the chat. So I want to get to learn about you guys because you are my favorite league mates, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And I just want to say thanks for being kind with your criticisms about the first week. It takes a lot more work than I probably need to do, if I'm being honest, but just kind of figuring this out. So I'll try and take the criticisms to heart and make the best thing I can. It's not professional, but I want to make it as enjoyable as possible.
You, Greg. Thank you. All right, that's it for this week. See you guys next week.
Bye.